Omni True Value Hardware Store presents the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Yay! And yes, it is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, Long Island's largest rock salt provider. In case you don't know what rock salt looks like, folks, that's what it looks like in the air containment area where they keep it. And they got tons and tons of rock salt. They're Long Island's largest rock salt provider. And of course, they have all the other things you need with regards to helping you get clean with cleanup in winter storms like scrapers, shovels, snow blowers, and in case you lose power, even generators, and all the high quality snow melt products like Petalo, Mag Ice Pellets and Flakes, Omni Melt, Geo Melt, Bio Melt, and so much more. All at Omni True Value Hardware, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, Long Island, 631-756-1125. And the website is easy to remember. It's omnitruevalue.com, Mr. Rayo. Good evening.
1.5 inches of snow. That was my total on top of the 10 and a half we had a couple of weeks ago. So now, as of the winter of 2020, 2021, I have exactly 1 foot of snow. And
Well, you beat last year. I've already beaten last year, even though I didn't get anything from yesterday. Wound up, I'm still at 8, which I got in mid-December. Mid-December. It's really odd to me reading posts and comments from tantrum-throwing snow weenies who have apparently just completely discounted the fact that we had, for many areas in our neck of the woods, a double-digit snowfall in the middle of December. It's like it never happened.
yeah,
It's like it never happened. It's been completely ignored. They've. It's astounding to me. I actually went on a little. It wasn't really a rant so much, but I just basically told everybody to just grow up. It's it's weather, and it's January 4th, for God's sake. The chairman, who, by the way, goes by the moniker on the chat board as the chairman, our Scott Briller, hitting super chat tonight, the first in the till. Thank you, Mr. Scott. And we've got 40 likes. And Joe is very sensitive about not getting 100 likes. So he tends to get a little touchy about this. So
I want my 100 likes.
Exactly. So if you would like our live stream by hitting the like button, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel simply by using your Gmail account, and then you can jump on the chat board and participate in the conversation.
The only thing I want more than likes is Mapo. Remember? I want my
I want
Mapo.
my Mapo. I never liked Mapo. I don't know if you
No.
did. I was not my. I never cared for it.
No, I had a lot of cream of wheat and HO, but I never was into Mapo. But what the heck?
HO was what? Was that for oatmeal? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. It's funny. I never really cared for oatmeal when I was a young lad, but as a grown person, and I have, um, I actually enjoy oatmeal sometimes in the morning. I like it with the maple and brown sugar variety.
Yeah, so do I. That's my favorite as well.
And I add wheat germ in it sometimes too. Gives it a little extra crunch to it, a little extra sweetness. Johnny Quest just hit super chat tonight. Oh my, Johnny, thank you so much. Johnny, one of the moderators on the chat board. So if you don't behave yourself on the chat board, Johnny's there to put you in a timeout. You get a 300-second timeout. You don't want to get on Johnny's bad side.
No.
No.
Well, we've got a lot of good moderators here that are carefully watching over us, Joe.
They are. Okay, so I looked at everything all day long, and every model as it came out, I gave it a look, and I've come to a couple of conclusions. One is I have no darn idea what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Second, I have no darn idea what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And the third thing is this block that has developed is strong. and that might actually make our audience. We have folks that watch down from Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Georgia. Uh, the folks out in the western parts of those states may like the fact that the block is strong because they have a good chance of seeing some snow at the end of this week, I think.
Well, the most interesting thing I saw today was the fact that the GFS is red flagging a major snowstorm for the tri-state area a week from tomorrow, and the Europeans said, "Huh? What? Huh?"
Right, and then the
So,
GFS, and then the new GFS came in and took it. Well, it took it away. Here's the thing. By the way, I just want to acknowledge before we do that, Joe, because they apparently they were all spending their Christmas money today. Paul Roman hitting super chat tonight, and Timothy Veltman hitting super chat tonight as well. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Joe and I do appreciate it greatly. So this is exciting.
yeah, the whole
Yeah.
top of the top chat board
Oh,
here is lit up.
it's just lit up like a Christmas tree,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
good. So this block is going to be it's going to be a powerhouse, and it is also going to be a give us a huge, and I mean huge forecast headache over the next 2 weeks.
Yes, it will. As we've always said, splits. The game of splits and blocks is not a very easy game to play, and especially when you're trying to anticipate what may occur sometime down the road. It all deals with the future, my
Right,
friends. The future.
and the
The future is
more
where you and I, whether we like it or not, that is the place where we're going to spend the rest of our lives.
that's yes,
In
quite
that unknown place where we cannot tell what is to come and what are fortunes await us until we get there, when it will no longer be the future, but will be instead right now, baby.
Jersey Forza has hit super chat. He's new to the board. Welcome aboard. He says he loves our videos and he's ready for snow in New Jersey. Well, we're hoping to deliver at some point. Forza Jersey, the force of New Jersey. Uh, Nice to see a new participant on the chat board. Yeah, this is going to be fun the next couple of weeks. We're going to go from model run to model run. It's there. It's not there. It's the first one. No, it's the second one. No, it's the third one. No, it's all three. No, it's none of the above. I mean, this is what we're going to have to battle because it's going to be an issue of room. How much room is there going to be along the East Coast for a storm or several of them possibly systems, and whether the ability of those storms to be able to climb up the coast rather than get pushed out to the east, and the block is going to be the driver in all of this.
I'm kind of, well, I'm not completely amazed, but the folks over at Climate Prediction Center are still saying, Joe, that for 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 days out, we are below normal in terms of precipitation, and along with that, above normal in terms of temperature. I'm not talking about 60s and 70s, folks, but the normal high is now, at least in the tri-state areas, right, 38, 39 degrees. So I think what they're alluding to is maybe temps near or above 40 during the daylight, which would be above normal. And as far as precipitation goes, Joe, it appears that whatever comes our way or tries to come our way, at least in the minds of the folks at CPC, staying just far enough to our south to stay out of the picture for us. So we may have a rather boring, if this pans out, if you take it at face value, a rather boring next couple of weeks.
And taking it at face value is going to be very difficult to do because of the fact that we're going to be jumping around all over the place. Jason Schaefer hitting super chat and wishing us both a happy new year. Thank you very much, Jason. Most appreciated. By the way, Jason he puts out his podcast every night and posts it up on Facebook. So you should go like Jason. What's your? I forgot. It's with Corey, the Long Island Facebook page that you have. But Jason does a podcast every night. So check that podcast out. And if you're on the Discord chat group, you could probably Jason puts the link up on there, so you can get to hear it. All right, so why don't we get to what's going on map wise? I'm still hunting for a radar. I went, I was scolded by Bill Rogers yesterday, pleading with me, and I mean pleading with me, not to use the National Weather Service new radar because it's so darn awful. But I haven't been able to find a substitute. Then I was going to use my Zoom radar, which I have on my app, and I brought it up on the screen, but there must be some data issue going on between the Weather Service and some radar websites this afternoon because they all had empty data. At first glance, I thought, okay, the whole country doesn't have any preset, but I knew that was not going to be the case. But warnings at the moment are confined to the west. And this, of course, is where these systems are coming in and eventually going to make their way up into the eastern part of the U.S. And we're seeing winter storm watches up in the northern Rockies. We've got some high wind warnings up in the northern portions of the Sierra Nevadas and then heading up into south central Oregon. Winter storm warnings are up for the Cascades to the east of Seattle, not that far east of Seattle. So active weather there in the west, other than some patchy fog, some dense fog in central and northern Illinois, in and around the Chicago area. The rest of the country looks very quiet right now.
Yes, very quiet.
By the way,
Too quiet. Too quiet, Joe.
why don't I bring up? I'm going to bring up the snow map for snowfall because I really didn't give a good look at some of the snow total amounts in the Northeast. But I do know this is through 7 a.m. So this covers everything. Uh, Once again, a little upside. East for Binghamton itself getting 4 inches. They had to at the last minute throw up a winter weather advisory, and I think they even threw up a couple of winter storm warnings up for one or two counties for a short time. But on the west side of the Catskills, Joe, some 8-inch snow amounts, and also Scranton got 4. North and east of Scranton about 6, and northwest of there toward up I-81 between Scranton and Binghamton, a large area getting 8 inches. That area wound up with 30 plus in that December snowfall. So they've already gotten their snowfall for the winter in terms of being in terms of normal. And I know Timothy Veltman said that where he is near the Albany area, he had some upside yesterday. Albany got 3, Saratoga got 3, but to the west of Albany, some areas getting 4 plus, and some of those 4-inch amounts extended up into Vermont, lesser amounts in New Hampshire. In Connecticut, we saw up in the northwest corner of Connecticut 4 inches. Danbury got 2, Waterbury, Hartford 1. New York City didn't get anything. You had to really go north of 287 to start to run into some light accumulation. 1 to some 3-inch amounts, even a little 4-inch dot there in northwest New Jersey, and the southern edge getting to just south of Allentown. So this was not supposed to be a big deal anyway. It was. I don't know why a bunch of the usual suspects. Of course, they jump on everything as far as everything on Earth is a major storm. I don't know why this particular one. I had to get not they weren't arguments so much, but I had to just kind of convince a few people yesterday that there really isn't much to this, and there won't be much to this.
Maybe they thought that there was going to be some kind of a surprise that no one else was seeing. I
Well,
saw 3 to 5 inches for my part of Putnam County, and I called my wife over and I said, "Guess what? We're going to get 3 to 5 inches." And it was difficult for the two of us to believe that was going to be the story. And we were surprised we got as much as we did, an inch and
yeah.
a half. So
Well, the upper low, the area that got the most, once again, it was where the upper low. This time the upper low was weakening, but it was still a presence. So if you follow the track of the upper low at 18,000 feet, just north and west of that track, that is what where all the heavy snow was produced. On the satellite tonight, our system is out in the ocean. That was the other thing too, Joe. Once that low started to develop, it essentially robbed all the energy from the upper low that as it was coming east. So all the radar echoes just fell apart after about 9 o'clock last night.
that's right. And without any upper support, you're not going to go very far. And we didn't see go very far with this.
No, we didn't. And now, of course, when you take a look at this loop, you see that low that's out well southeast of Cape Cod. It's not really moving very much at this point. It has slowed down to an absolute crawl, and this is part of the blocking. The traffic in the Atlantic is building, and we have multiple storms out there. If you look on the upper right, you just see the back edge of the system that we dealt with. When did it rain this weekend? Was it Saturday? I forgot. I've already forgot.
I've already
Was it
forgot too.
Friday? Maybe it was Friday. But that storm system is now, near the Azores, and that's blocking this one from moving out. And as long as that system is just to our east, it's going to it's going to be a force for follow-up systems. And one that's following up is already moving into the Pacific, into the west, and that is going to be eventually taking a southern track for the latter part of this week. But until then, it looks like the weather's going to be relatively calm and quiet. I mean, outside of just some minor day-to-day things like clouds and uh, the wind is probably going to pick up a little bit later Tuesday night into Wednesday, and maybe even to Wednesday night. Nothing crazy. It's just going to get breezy. But other than that, there really isn't a whole lot that's going to be happening here through Thursday.
And I noticed, Joe, that between now and let's say, well, 15 days from now, 384 hours, there are no fewer than four four possible systems that presumably are going to roll on through, and all four, at least according to the 18Z GFS, supposedly are going to be missing us, passing
Well,
to our south. But that's
yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
that's that's the fantasy maps as they go along. What's one person's miss is another person's gain. So look, I'm trying to get the radar echoes aren't showing up for whatever reason. So I'm forced, mind you, to use the radar from the Weather Service. And guess what? Their echoes aren't showing up either. So we'll take one more shot here. Oh yeah, we got some echoes. I know Bill Rogers up in Southern Vermont. I don't know if he's on the board tonight. He probably just fainted again over the fact that I'm using this, but no matter. There's all the action in the West, and there's a ton of it up and down the West Coast. A lot of rain there from Northern California northward, and some snow up in the Northern Rockies. Very busy in northern Idaho and even in parts of southern Idaho. There's a little bit of precip running across Wisconsin and Illinois. It's on the light side, and there's also a little bit of snow shower activity in parts of Maine. Otherwise, we really are lacking with respect to precip. And WPC, I have to laugh, Joe. You're going to love this. So WPC on their 7-day rainfall forecast, which takes us through next Tuesday, they had nothing, but they actually put in a zero point zero 0.01 to 0.10 liquid now for parts of the Northeast. But you go down to the Mid-Atlantic states, go down to Southern Virginia, North Carolina, back into northern Georgia and northern Alabama, Jess Harden. We've got rainfall liquid amounts of 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half. Now, for some of this, it's going to wind up being snow. We're going to get to that. Also, we've got a somewhat robust area of rain over the next 7 days, anywhere from about, let's say 1 to 2 inches or so in the western Gulf states, and of course you see the clobbering on the west coast, on the from northern California up to Washington, with several to many inches of rain being forecast there. Now I have to show you this because I might be there for this, but this is the WPC Snowfall Forecast Map, Mr. Rayo, for Thursday into Friday. And this is the probability on their long range. They only go for an inch, amounts greater than an inch. But if you look in that dark green section in northeast Georgia, there's a 30 to 50% chance of at least an inch. That's up in the mountains of northeast Georgia. I might be there at the end of the week. And also that extends, by the way, into North Carolina And then you've got the probability of an inch of 10 to 30%. These are early, by the way. We're going to be in the 72-hour zone tomorrow, so we'll see what they do with that when we get there. And a little patch there in Southern Virginia. Going to have to see how the models play out with this first weather system coming along.
The chairman says snow always follows Joe. Snow follows Joe, like in that character in Little Abner with the cloud and the rain.
Yeah.
Joe Bissell's.
I know it does. All right, so let's talk. Let's might as well talk long range because that's really all it's about tonight. We don't have anything going on in short range of consequence. So let's check the teleconnections. We have La PNA, okay, the Pacific North America Index. Every day we've checked it, it's been slightly positive, up to one standard deviation from the mean positive, and through the next 16 days, which takes us out to about January 17th, 18th or so. I know it's the 4th, but that counts today. So let's say out to about the 18th or so. It's going to stay positive, one standard deviation from the mean positive, which isn't too shabby. Troughing in the east in general, ridging in the west in general, troughing near 160. Okay. The Arctic oscillation today, same as yesterday. We are running 3, 4, and even 5 standard deviations from the mean. There's this big spike up around the 14th, 15th. And remember, when they spike really fast when you go from 4 or 5 standard deviations from the mean to almost neutral in about 2 days' time, uh, there's something going on in a big way somewhere. So it could be a signal here of something happening around the 15th, 16th. Maybe something before that, but of importance, it might be around the. So let's split the difference and call it the 15th. The NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, is negative between 1 and 2 standard deviations of the mean, and that stays that way all through the period. So we are going to have a very strong blocking signal, and it's just going to depend on how strong is it when we have a low approaching. If it's too strong, it's not going to be able to make the turn up the East Coast. If it's not quite as strong as indicated, that opens the door for something to move northward. But then you have to start balancing out, well, then how much cold air are we going to have? Because as it is, Joe, we don't really have a whole lot of cold air to play with. It's marginal, and we'll have to do it with dynamics. Not impossible. We've done it before, but it's gonna require some work.
It's going to be one where, well, we're talking about the temperatures and the temperature field overall. The question is, can we bring a storm all the way up to our latitude? It looks like, as I said, the GFS, at least the 18Z, wants to kick not one, not two, but as many as 4 disturbances off of the eastern seaboard, all just basically off to our south, and all just bringing us nothing more than some cloudiness. Now, admittedly, the 12Z run, this one from 6 hours ago, indicates that, or indicated that a week from tomorrow we might have something to get excited about. Although it didn't jive with what the European came up with.
Right.
But again, it's all due again to the game of splits and blocks and where a block or where a split is going to be specifically. And it's tough in this type of situation. I always have to giggle and laugh. You see now that we have 2 stations in the New York area now offering 10-day outlooks for what they're worth.
Oh, make them go away.
And they shouldn't even be. I tell you, the rest are offering 7-day outlooks, but in this type of a pattern, you're hard pressed to go much beyond 5 days if you go that far out.
Well, let's use the 12Z run because you have said many times you're not a big fan of the in between. So let's use the 12Z. So this way it's even with the European, which is 12Z, and the Canadian, which is the 12Z run, and the UKMED, which, by the way, Joe, the UKMED is not only the only model that brings snow up the coast on Friday, but in its last 3 runs, each run it brings more and more. So just bear that in mind. It's the outlier in all of this, but I've got the upper air, and I kind of I drew on it where the players are here and what the problem is, or what we're dealing with. And the block is set, and that is that entire area that's in purple. That's all high pressure up there in the upper atmosphere. And when you get to see purple on these upper air maps, you're talking about way above normal pressures that exist from eastern Canada out east across southern Greenland and between the Azores and Iceland. And underneath that is, whoops, oh, won't let me draw, but underneath that is the low that you see near Newfoundland. That is our storm system that today sits east of Cape Cod. So it really isn't going to go far. This is the map. The map that's up there right now is for Thursday night at 7 p.m. So this thing is not moving because out near the Azores is that other storm that's not moving, and you've got this blocking high kind of sandwiched in between. So underneath that, in northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, is an upper low. There's a strong wrapped up system there in the upper atmosphere. And if to take this at face value, to me, it would say that the surface low would probably get as far north as maybe northeastern North Carolina, maybe to southeastern Virginia before it gets pushed out to the east. And then, of course, if you look out to the west, we've got another system, another big system that looks like it's getting ready to come into California and Oregon sometime, maybe late Friday or Friday night, early Saturday. And that is going to be right behind this one. And if I didn't circle it, but if you go further west, northwest of Hawaii, there's yet another wrapped up little low there, another system that's going to come in right behind that one. So it's this endless parade, and it's going to be all about the block, all about the highs to the higher pressures to the north, and how they interact with all these systems running around. It's going to flex at times. Gets a little stronger on one day, maybe a little weaker on another. So you're going to have to pick, you're going to have to pick your spots here in terms of timing. Makes for a very difficult forecast. And yes, the possibility, Joe, as you said, it could wind up we get nothing out of this. I mean, it would be really strange if we go 16 days without any precip or any snow of any kind. But in a pattern like this, and when you have a block like this, it's not impossible.
Oh, by the way, I just I'm checking your favorite model, Joe, the Navy no gaps model.
Oh, I don't, Joe, stop. No, we're not that desperate yet.
But I
No.
just, if you're interested, that the Navy no gaps is bringing the system this weekend up into our area for Saturday night and Sunday morning,
All right.
if you care.
Well, the UKMET, the UKMET brings it up for Friday night into Saturday.
Okay.
So and it brings snow all the way up. It brings snow all the way up to Boston. What the UKMET basically is saying is that this first low gets out of the way, just gets far enough out of the way, and the block relaxes just enough to allow the short wave to lift up and the low to lift up. It's got a nice little low on the surface, by the way. It's got like a 97 or a 96 low just off the Delaware coast before it starts to slide out to the east. So the UKMET seems to be is an outlier here, but it's not an impossible solution given the circumstances.
And this goes out to what, 120 hours?
The UKMET goes only to 144.
Yeah.
So that takes us to next Sunday. But by then it's long gone. It had it up here like Friday night, Saturday, if I remember correctly.
I had it up to here.
Yes, exactly. All right, so here's your upper air tonight, folks. We've got a trough running right down the middle of the country. Your system that's offshore. You got a storm that's just west of the Azores. You got your high that's between the Azores and Iceland. You've got higher than normal pressures all up from northeastern Canada to southern Greenland. You have a ridge up the Rockies, another trough coming into the west coast, another trough down into 160. It is an incredibly active pattern across the northern hemisphere, for sure. And on this run, we saw the block flexing. You notice that upper low, the system here, our system off of Cape Cod, it gets out to about Newfoundland, then it just sort of rotates back. It just takes an arm and it rotates that arm back, and that keeps the pressures low in New England, or lower in New England, and it puts a wall so that when this thing moves toward the Carolinas, instead of lifting up, it gets kicked out to more northeast and goes out to like 40 and 65, and then it merges with that one. And here comes the next one, and this is for Monday. This had a better chance on the GFS, so because it got the north involved, and then that swings up, and then you see another one dropping down into Texas by around January 14th. And this might be, Joe. This is where we talked about that spike. Although I look at this upper air, I don't know how they got the spike, how the ensembles are figuring a spike in the AO almost to the neutral line, because there's nothing but higher than normal pressures across the Arctic on the operational run. But you do have a nice looking complex trough here in the east around January 15th, January 16th. So that could be the signal that the model's given for something important around that time. And after that, the one thing that is a positive for snow lovers is that the Pacific is in much better shape. You start off with that amorphous low pressure everywhere for another couple of days, and then it gradually breaks down as we move through the forecast period, and you actually get a ridge up the west coast in the long range. And it's inside day 10 now, so we can feel confident that it's going to happen.
It's a matter of going to the well one too many times. There's so much that's going to be happening over the next 2 weeks. And right now it looks, you take a quick look and you say, oh, we're going to miss out. There's all these things going to be passing off to our south. Yeah, maybe. But then again, maybe one of those three or four will come just far enough north. The system we just had this past weekend, the one we had yesterday into last night, that really wasn't all that well.
No, it wasn't well telegraphed at all. In fact, the earlier runs earlier at this time last week had it going out. Some of the models didn't even develop anything out of it. That's why you
Right.
got to, you folks watching. That's why you got to be careful when you start. You can't look at every run and act as if it's gospel, because it's not. The further out you go in time, as Bill Corbell put it so well when we had him on as a guest a few weeks ago, that it's like it's a haze that you're looking at. It's sort of this blur in the longer range. And then you wait till you get into the shorter range for that blur to clear up so that you can make out what is or is not going to happen. All that upper air we showed, by the way, this is how it plays out in the surface. We've got a high in eastern Canada that's built down the entire eastern seaboard. It's not it's not a whole lot of cold air. So we're talking about temperatures near or slightly above average. Here comes your first low, and the GFS on this run from earlier today, has the low southeast of Hatteras on Friday afternoon, kicks it out to the northeast. If I back it up, you can see it does it's got some blue there in western North Carolina down into North Georgia for some snow. That might be underdone, by the way. Then that goes out, gets a little colder behind it. Then here comes the next one that rolls across the Gulf states. And this one, the GFS made the turn and brought it up the coast on Monday and actually brought snow from New Jersey on up through New England, with a nice looking little low there as it goes by to the northeast and goes into Canada. And here comes number 3, which initially it shows it going up the west side of the Appalachians. But I got to figure, though, with this NAO the way it is, that's going to be a tough sell unless the north phases with it and you wind up with a deepening low that does go to the west. I mean, that's not impossible. But this is this is right around the 16th where you get that big spike up to the neutral line. So the model is showing something of consequence on that particular weekend, the 16th, 17th. And then after that, it does get cold. This is when we start to get into some of the more quality cold air for into the northeast and back in through the Great Lakes and Plains. It looks like a couple of big highs come along and build on down. So everything's on course as far as I'm concerned. I'm sold on the whole pattern realignment, and it's going to be all about the block for at least the next couple of weeks.
And indeed, the cold weather that we are looking at still kind of bottled up over northern and central Canada, but it looks like by mid-week, mid-month, we'll begin to see some of that begin to ooze. May I use that term, Joe? Ooze
Ooze.
on southward. And by the way, I'm looking at the map that you brought up for the 20th of January, and that is shows a rather significant storm here in the Northeast, and that's going to be a special day because that, of course, is inauguration day. Although I don't think they're going to have the normal inauguration because of the COVID
Right.
19 situation, but it would be, of course, we all, well, we, when I say we don't all remember, but we remember it from if you've done your history, check into history, the 1961 inauguration of President Kennedy coincided with a major winter storm, which buried most of Washington the night before into, and actually, I think the snow finally stopped just before daybreak on January 20th, 1961. And President Kennedy made his speech. Everybody else was bundled up, and there he is out there, sitting with or giving his speech in just a jacket. Everybody else again was, you know, it was a bitter cold day in the wake of a major snowfall, and
Yep.
that was in 1961. So, what will we see in 2021? It's anybody's guess right now.
By the way, the polar vortex split today. We've been following this on and off the last few weeks and talking about it, but we have a split in the polar vortex in the stratosphere. One center is in Europe, where it has been cold and will continue to be. The other center drops down in northern Canada. You've got this upper high in the stratosphere that's building up into the Arctic region, and over that reddish brown area, I drew that arrow. That is the area of stratospheric warming that's occurring, and basically attacked the polar vortex and split it in two. The split is not going to last long. The low that drops in northeastern Canada actually weakens a bit, and then the remaining low is forecast to stretch and potentially split again sometime around January 16th. Whether it splits or not may not matter because it's extreme. This polar vortex this winter, Joe, in the stratosphere is weakening and weakening very quickly and very early, which is going to have ramifications for February. The longer term for February into March. What those ramifications are, I don't know, but it is weak. It does split again. You see, there's one strong low that's up in Eastern Europe, Northeastern Europe, Northwestern Siberia, and another one that is sitting just east of Newfoundland, south of Greenland, and then the big upper high that's built up in northern Canada. So I'm trying to get a guest that's knowledgeable about this. I mentioned this yesterday. I'll mention it again today. I'm working on trying to get a guest who's all about the polar vortex, and this way they can explain it to us, because I really am not savvy about what goes on in this level of the atmosphere, because up until a couple of years ago I never really looked at it, and I don't think
No,
you the same. We rarely looked at this sort of stuff.
right, right. Well, we'll see. I'm looking here on the chat board, and we have a gentleman, or maybe it's a lady. I don't know who it is. Red Tape, and Red Tape says, "Sorry, boys, no polar air equals no snow for you." And somebody made the comment. Jacob Bailey said, "Is Red Tape the new Sal Blandino?"
I haven't heard from Sal. I saw he commented on something maybe a few days ago or a week ago, and I didn't get a chance to respond to it. And he commented on one of the videos, but he's been remarkably silent for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I hope he's okay. I worry about Sal.
Well, guess what, Joe?
What, Joe?
I have a person here who is anxious to get in front of the camera because she has a set of Briller Jeopardy
It's
questions,
Briller Jeopardy.
which we should have read yesterday, but yesterday we were talking too much about the snow. So
So what you're
I'm going to,
telling me is that the executive producer has arrived,
yes,
and yes, and well, we're ready. I don't know how many more. I've been doing pretty good with these cooking questions, so I don't know how I'm going to do this time around, because I have some knowledge, but it's not extensive.
well, I'm going to move for the moment, get up, and
Good evening, all.
And here she is, Mrs. Rayo. Hello,
Hello,
Renata. How are you,
hello.
dear?
Oh, just fine. Hanging in there.
You'd be happy to know, by the way. I don't know if you saw. I made for the first time. I made lasagna, and a few people mentioned that they thought it was odd that I've never tried this before, and I didn't because I don't know, maybe I thought it was too much work, but I made my first lasagna a couple of weeks ago. I made it for when did I make it for? For New Year's? I think I made
Yeah,
it for
it takes
Christmas.
it takes a lot of patience. It takes time. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
and you got to layer it. I
Yeah.
didn't cheat. Some people said that told me I should use the no boil lasagna, but no, I
Mhm.
didn't do that. I used I boiled it and I did all that. I
Mhm.
also made my own sauce from scratch back weeks ago, and whenever I do that, I always whatever I don't use, I freeze, and then I
Mhm.
use that as my starter for the next one. So the
Very
sauce
good.
part was actually easy because I just emptied three uh, three containers of what used to have egg foo young, egg drop soup in it or
Yeah,
wonton
yeah,
soup. And I just kind of I dropped the sauce
yeah.
into the pan, threw in some peeled tomato, some San Marzano peeled tomatoes, and a few meatballs to flavor it up, and it worked quite well.
And lasagna is one of those things that it actually tastes better the next day,
Yes,
and it cuts and lifts out of the pan far better too.
yes, it's very important that you let your lasagna rest when it comes out of the oven.
That's right.
Resting is important. And I had made two trays, and the second tray I froze after I
Mhm.
let it sit out, for quite a while. With the day I cooked it,
Mhm.
I let it sit out on the top of the stove for a few hours, and then after it cooled, and then I put it in, I
Right,
froze it, and
right.
it gets all that time it gets to absorb all the wonderful flavors of the tomatoes, of the sauce, of the meat,
Right.
and the cheeses and everything. Oh, it was astounding, the second one. So anyhow, I'm
All
ready.
right. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm going to put the old lady glasses on. It says, question number one. What do you call the process of submerging vegetables in boiling water? A, ouch. B, soaking. C, blanching. D, shocking.
Oh God. Well,
The process of
it's
submerging vegetables in boiling
I'm
water.
gonna say shocking. My other choice was blanching, but
Well, is it
it
blanching or
isn't
shocking?
blanching. I thought blanching was I didn't think that was
Submerging vegetables in boiling water is blanching.
blanching. All right.
Yes.
Well, I
And
was
then
in the
to keep the
neighborhood.
green, let's say if you're blanching broccoli or string beans, you would shock it in ice water to keep
Right.
the green.
Yes. Yes. You shock it. You
That's
shock
the
with cold, and you blanch with boiling.
difference. Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
All right.
Starting
Question
off on a
two.
bad on the wrong foot here.
All right. Question two. The average American consumes how many pounds of candy per year? A, 15,
Oh.
B, 18 pounds, C, 22 pounds, and D, 156.
Oh. Good God. I'll say. Well, I'll tell you this. Um, I'm not. I don't. It's none of the above. I can't imagine it's that. Well,
Yeah, I
it
know.
can't be the high number's out. So let's throw the high number out. I want to go with the lowest number because that's a pretty formidable number. So I'll take the second lowest number. What was it, 20 something?
15, 18, or 22.
I'll say 18.
All right, the answer is C, 22
Oh,
pounds, believe
good
it or not.
God.
Yeah, well,
No. Ew, ew.
I
I'm not a
know.
candy.
I don't think I eat that much
No,
either.
I don't
So,
at all.
okay, McDonald's. Everybody's familiar with McDonald's. Fries were cooked in what until 1990? Beef fat, honey, gravy, or mayonnaise? This is a giveaway.
They were cooked. The
In what? A, beef fat, B, honey, C, gravy, or mayonnaise?
It's got to be beef fat.
That's right, beef fat. All right, question number four. Lemons and limes. Which one floats and which one sinks?
Oh, I'm gonna say
Okay.
lemons sink and limes float. No, the other way around.
Right. Lemons float and limes sink.
You know, it's one of those things. It's one of
It's
those
meant to
things
be
that I
safe.
see all the time and I never pay attention to.
Attention to it. I know. Who knew? Question number 5 about Mountain Dew. It
Ew.
is mostly, it's one of the most popular sodas,
It's also
uh,
one of the most
it's
concentrated
caffeinated,
sugars and caffeine. Yeah.
right? Mountain Dew is mostly A, lemon juice, B, lime juice, C, prune juice, or D, orange juice.
Oh God, if it was prune juice, Jesus. Oh Lord.
Not to mention it wouldn't look
I
good.
mean, there's actually juice in it. It's not pure chemical.
Well,
I'll
I
say
didn't make
lemon.
these up.
I'll say lemon.
Yeah, I guess I would have thought the same, but
It's lime.
apparently it is orange juice.
Orange juice.
It is
You
mostly
know, sad story, very sad. I saw there was I saw this on 60 Minutes a few years, well, probably a little more than a few years ago now, but they did a special about in Appalachia, and it was a mobile dentist. He
right.
had his
I
own
saw that.
Winnebago, and he would drive around to the poor areas, and it's centered around the fact that these little kids, we're talking about toddlers,
Yeah.
and then 1 and 2 year olds are put on a diet of Mountain Dew, and by the time they reach 2 years old, all their baby teeth are rotted out,
Mhm.
completely rotted out. And it was not fun to watch. It really wasn't. And
No.
plus the fact that Mountain Dew's got probably double the calories of other sodas, and you're drinking it all day.
Well, it's very caffeinated.
Oh, and yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's
It's more
gross.
so than Coke. Okay,
And
question
I'm
number
not
6.
doing well tonight.
What was the first food eaten in space? A, freeze-dried ice cream, B, applesauce, C, raisins, or D, banana.
Where's Joe? You should know this. Um,
Joe, are you paying attention?
what were the choices again? Freeze-dried
Okay.
ice cream.
Freeze-dried ice cream, applesauce, raisins, or banana.
I'll say
First food
applesauce.
in space was applesauce.
Applesauce.
Okay, question number 7.
Finally got one right.
What was the first product to have its barcode scanned? Was
Ooh.
it banana, ketchup, juicy fruit gum, or D, olives?
Juicy Fruit Gum is the only brand that's named in this. And then I'm thinking about Heinz 57. I'll go with ketchup.
Nope. Juicy fruit
Juicy
gum.
Fruit Gum. Okay.
Where does Scott get these
I
from?
don't know.
Okay, question number 8. French fries origin is from A, France, B, Belgium, C, Turkey, or D, French Fryville.
I'm going to say Belgium.
Belgium it is. Yes, it is. It is not really French. It is
They're Belgian fries.
Belgian fries. All right. Question number 9 and 10. Baseball rules apply. So 3 strikes and you're out.
Okay.
Here we go. In terms of sales, what are the 5 biggest fast food chains? Hint, it's not just burgers and chicken. 5 biggest
Fast food
chains.
chains.
Yep.
All right. So we know McDonald's is one of them.
Bing.
All right. I'm going to say oh boy. McDonald's, Taco Bell,
Yes. Ding ding.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC.
It's not on the list.
Okay.
You're close.
Close to KFC? What's close to KFC? Is Pizza Hut considered fast food? No.
Well, it's not on the list. I'll
Let's
give you that.
list. Okay. It's close to KFC. What's close to KFC? It's chicken, and it's not KFC. I'm drawing a blank here. Why am I drawing a blank?
So
Oh,
McDonald's, Taco Bell.
oh, good God.
I'll give you this one, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Okay. I was going to
No,
say
we don't have any around here.
No, we actually have one. We have one here about 2 miles away. I was thinking about Chick-fil-A, and they're big in the South. They're huge in the South,
Oh, okay.
and I actually enjoy going to Chick-fil-A. But I just didn't think that they were distributing nationwide to be as that big a factor. But okay.
Yeah.
So that leaves what? There's 2 left.
There's 2 left.
Arby's.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm. Same kind of.
Same kind of Burger King.
Yeah, Burger King. Yeah.
McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
And there's one more.
One more.
Oh, good Lord.
They've been closing these down left and right in the last few years, especially this past year. They've been consolidating a little bit more, this chain. Another highly caffeinated product.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's the biggest hint I can give you.
I know. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts hasn't been closing, but that's not a fast food place. Neither is Starbucks. Well, I know Starbucks said they were going to close some, and so it is Starbucks.
Closed quite a few.
Yeah, because they're opening up ones with drive-throughs.
Yes.
And a lot of the ones they're closing are the ones that don't have drive-throughs in them.
Yep.
Okay.
So those are your 5: McDonald's, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, and Burger King. Those are your top 5 fast food chains.
I'm not big on fast foods. I rarely eat fast food.
No, we don't go too much either, especially nowadays.
Yes.
Anyway, bonus question: what is the chairman's favorite soup? I guess you must know.
Oh, besides chicken soup?
Is it tomato, matzo ball, chicken noodle, vegetable, or wonton?
I love you, Scott. But I'm thinking it's either the chicken soup that your mom makes, or you like Chinese food and it's wonton soup. So I'll go with the wonton soup.
Nope, B, matzo ball.
Matzo ball. Okay. All right. Well,
Mama's little baby loves matzo.
Mama's little baby loves matzo ball.
Okay, we're gonna switch around here.
Thank you, Renata.
Very welcome.
Renata Rayo, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give her a hand.
Come on,
let's give her a hand.
Come on, yay! And we got 115 likes.
Yes, we did.
And for that little performance, you should at least go for another 100 likes here to make it over 200.
Exactly.
Yes.
Late hits to Super Chat tonight, Joe, from Steve LaPointe. And it is LaPointe, by the way. The E is silent.
Okay.
And Chuck Cardillo. And Shraggy Stern, who's still digging out of his snow up in Rockland County. Thanks for the Super Chat hits. Very much. Joe and I really do appreciate it greatly. Oh, where did I go? Wait, I disappeared here. You're on by yourself. We can't have that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm gone.
And I'm kind of blurry too.
Yeah, something's gone. Something weird just happened. Oh well, it was around the time we were going to say goodbye anyway. So
that's true.
So
we've been going for 53 minutes. So
you have anything? Have any last minute things to say?
No. If you want to see the cartoons that Joe and I grew up with, Joe, they are now on MeTV, 7 a.m. each morning, 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they have a 3-hour block on Saturday. And I got to tell you something. I saw the most fascinating Warner Brothers cartoon, black and white, with Porky Pig and Daffy Duck.
DAFFY DUC.
And they interacted. It was an interaction of cartoon with real people. It was Leon Schlesinger, who was the original, I guess, producer of the Looney Tune cartoons back in the 30s. It was a cartoon about Porky going in and being egged on by Daffy Duck. Porky goes into Leon Schlesinger's office, and like Leon Schlesinger's like looking down at him, and like Porky is trying to get a raise or something, and then he says, I want to go somewhere else," and he tears up his contract. It was amazing, and I had never seen in all the years I've been watching, Looney Tune cartoon, Warner Brothers cartoons. I never saw that before. That alone made it worth, waking up early on a Saturday morning to watch. So if you're into this sort of thing, they have the Looney Tunes, they have Tom and Jerry, they have Popeye, all the cartoons which have seemingly vanished from broadcast TV. The cartoons that we grew up with are now on MeTV Monday through Saturday mornings. And if you're not doing anything at 7 a.m., get up and watch.
Okay, excellent. Meanwhile, I'm having incredible technical difficulties here. I don't know what happened, Joe, but you know what? I'm going to bring you back up. Let me just remind everybody that the Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware of West Babylon, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue, just north of the Southern State Parkway, for everything you need to get you through the next round of winter storms when they arrive, and they will. 631-756-1125. The website is omnitruevalue.com. God, got a little Porky Pig in there. Okay, you say goodnight.
Well, good night, everybody. That's all, folks.
I